All right, so here with TJ Dillashaw. We're here in Anaheim to cover UFC 270, but it's his backyard, and he is actually going to the fight. And we were talking just right before this interview. You haven't been to a live event with fans for 3 years since you fought Henry Cejudo.
Yeah.
Have you missed it? Have you missed like that energy and that atmosphere? Is that something you're kind of looking forward to get back to this year?
I'm definitely excited to get that feeling again, right? It's been a long time. You get kind of used to it when you're doing the fight after fight after fight and been there, done that kind of thing. But now it's exciting to get back and feel the energy of a crowd. And I'm sure the crowds have been going crazy because everything's been on lockdown and they're finally able to watch a fight again too, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun to see it out. It's crazy to me that it's been 3 years since I've been at a live event like this, and then even longer since I've been a spectator. So I'm the newbie again.
Yeah, well, you'll be back in that atmosphere on Saturday. I'm sure it'll be fun for you.
Yeah.
The update, of course, we're looking for is the knee. How's the knee holding up, and are you back to training full time?
Not training full time, not full goes, that's for sure. Actually taking longer than I hoped, to get back to full recovery. It's on track though. I just didn't realize how much work I was going to have to get done. I didn't realize like how beat up my knee was. I knew what I tore and things like that. But then after I watched the video and what the doctor actually did, I messed it up really bad, and especially that meniscus and stuff. So it's been taking a little bit longer than I've wanted. I almost have full range of motion, get my heel to my butt and things like that. Strength is there. Just got to make sure I'm safe about getting into those full motions and don't want to set myself back. I can't be in a rush, to get in there because I'm going to hurt myself again,
So do you even have a time frame right now, an expected time frame?
I wouldn't say an exact time frame, but I'd imagine, probably halfway through the year. I mean, I haven't even gotten into full training yet. I'm able to hit mitts. I've been doing a lot of strength conditioning. I haven't done any kind of grappling whatsoever. That's probably the last thing that I'll feel comfortable doing. And then start thinking about getting into a camp, right? So I got to first make sure that everything holds up and then think about getting into a camp. So no exact timelines, but I mean, the way my weight class is right now, I got time,
Yeah, well, that was going to be my next question. It's almost like deja vu, where when you watch the first Aljamain Sterling Petr Yan fight, you're like, that is the worst thing that could have happened for me.
Yeah.
And then the fight gets scheduled for October, the rematch, and then it gets kicked down the line, and it was like, that's the worst thing that could happen for you again. But actually, it doesn't sound like maybe that is the worst thing because you wouldn't have been ready for the first half anyway, huh?
Yeah, I was hoping I'd be ready for first quarter, but it's just not realistic. And I thought because I didn't tear my ACL, that would be okay. I'd be able to come back, but it's just taking longer. And yeah, with the weight class being the way it is, that fight being a disqualification the way it was by far the worst thing. I wanted to come back and fight for the title right away. But I came back and had an insanely tough fight with Corey Sandhagen, fighting on one leg, and now it's time to wait for my belt. I'm tired of my belt being passed around. It's time for me to get it back.
What did you think of the interim fight with Yan and Sandhagen? Did you pick up anything specifically on Yan? You already fought Sandhagen. Did you pick anything up in that fight?
Oh, it's crazy. I'm actually still gonna have to watch. I haven't watched it.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah. I don't remember. I think I was on a plane. I missed the fight, and I still haven't watched it. I've heard a lot of the breakdown of kind of how it went down, and I definitely need to watch it because I think Sandhagen's style is probably good for him, but he doesn't have all the weapons he needs to beat a guy like Yan. Sandhagen's dangerous. He's very flashy and got great footwork, but I think he lacks a little bit of the all-around game that he needs to beat a guy like Yan.
So now looking forward, it's looking like April. UFC hasn't officially announced that, but it's looking like April finally for that. Hopefully it happens between
right?
Sterling and Yan.
Yeah.
I mean, you got really no choice but to wait because of the injury. But are you pretty confident that you're got your spot in line, that you will fight the winner?
I mean, let's be honest. I left as a champion. I came back and fought their number one contender for a 2.5-year layoff, and was able to beat him. And so what else is there for me? What the only thing's going to get me up out of bed and get me excited is getting my belt back. That's what's going to get me nervous, and that's my goal. I mean, there's nothing else to really set my eyes on other than that.
Yeah, I mean, the only option obviously that everybody would point to is Aldo.
Yeah.
And for starters on that, it's kind of cool that Jose Aldo wants to fight you. I mean,
I think he's called me out after every one of his fights recently, which is amazing, especially because I've looked up to Aldo I think everyone's looked up to Aldo. I think any interview you do, it's like Aldo's been, one of the godfathers of the lower weight classes, and it's amazing, right? But we'll have our time. He keeps doing what he's doing. I'm going to get my belt back, and then it'd be really amazing, So.
Yeah, I mean, you almost feel like that fight is inevitable. Like, it's going to happen at this point.
Especially
it's just
the way
a matter
he's looking.
of when.
Yeah. I've been impressed with how he's kind of turned it around at 135s, right? Because, I mean, I know what that weight cut will do to you. and what it does to just your body in general and how you kind of break down. And I felt like he looked like that when he first fought in 35s. And his face kind of looked like that just sucked up look I had. And when me looking at photos, the way I looked, it was disgusting. I felt like that's how he was at first. And now it looks like he's settling into it, right? Having a few fights there and getting confident at the weight class, and has got the cardio now, I feel, So I've been impressed with it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you think is behind the turnaround? And did you just say it? It was just getting comfortable at the weight? Is that what needed to happen?
Yeah, I think it's a long-term commitment of having to keep his body at that lower weight, right? I mean, he was always a stacked 45er. And for him to drop that weight, I think those first fight or first two fights, your body's got to get used to it. And I think he's now practicing at a lower weight class, right? He's going into practice lower. He's got the rhythm down. I think it's just your body getting used to it.
What do you think that fight would look like? I know you and Dwayne like to sit down and really kind of map out what the fight's going to look. What would a fight between you and Aldo look like?
A fight with me and Aldo is amazing. I mean, stylistically, I think that matchup's really great for me. There's a lot of things that he does that I've been able to prove work against his teammate. Him and his teammate Barao had a lot of the same style. I'm not saying he hasn't evolved, but he's got some stuff I can take advantage of, that's for sure. But he's dangerous. He's very explosive. He's dangerous. You got to be on your toes with that guy. You can never underestimate him whatsoever. So yeah.
Jan Sterling, when that fight happens, how do you see it going?
Again, anything can happen, but my money's on Jan, just to see the way that fight went down, and kind of see Aljamain just break and give up, and really didn't have much for him. I was kind of expecting Sterling to give him a lot more trouble in that grappling aspects and the takedown, and Jan just kind of shrugged him off, like he had no strength. And so I don't know if there's much you can change with that, that mentality, and Jan's a killer. You see the way he fights, he stays real tight, stays clean, and he's got the mentality that he's a fighter, right? You got those competitors, you got athletes, and then you got fighters. And guys like myself and guys like Jan are the full package. You do all of them, where I feel like Sterling's more of maybe a competitor, or an athlete. And he doesn't have that fighting spirit in him. He's a little bit weak when it comes to that.
Last thing for you, I know your focus is completely on the belt, whoever has the belt.
Yeah.
But Henry Cejudo keeps he wants to fight. It's very clear he wants to fight. Is that one that you kind of keep an eye on? Like, I want that one back at some point. Is that one you got to have?
I would love it back. I don't know if he'll ever do it, but I would love that fight back, and it does get me excited to see that return. I thought it was inevitable anyways. When he retired, I was like, he'll come back. I think he was trying to build up some attention behind his name, but I think he's going to try to come back and fight for the 45-pound belt. Why risk everything else when you can try to do that, right? So we'll see.
Cool. Well, man, I appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy the fights on Saturday, man.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get back out there and feel the energy. So I appreciate you guys having me by.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.